I'm so excited about the containers that we're going to be planting today because I have the most luxurious roses that you've ever seen before. And they're going to fit right in with the scheme and the theme of this area here. And I know from where you're sitting, you probably are like, okay, I'm not that impressed, but let me show you what these beauties look like. They're just so amazing, so intoxicating. Look at that. Can you see them? Yes, honey, yes. So this is just going to be the star of the show here. We're going to head in. We're going to grab the containers that we're going to be doing because we're going to be planting up too. So let's go ahead and grab the containers. I am going to take our roses and I'm going to set our roses off to the side. We are going to have to build these containers, but we're also going to go plant shopping for the rest of the ingredients for this container recipe here. All of the ingredients are going to be easy to source and find. So if you want to repeat this in your garden, it'll be simple and easy to do. Let's go get the container. We're going to use this container as well as this container right here. Let me show you what it looks like. Let me move this out the way. Set this right here. And I'll try to turn this container. Well, it'll probably be easier to grab this one. Oh, you all, it's heavy. So you can see what it looks like. Here is our detail here. Both of the containers are identical. So we got one. So we'll get this one and take it back. Oh, it's so heavy. Oh. Here's the first container. We're going to go ahead and set it here. We are going to plant up our arrangement here in this area. Let's go get the second one. And we'll grab this container out as well. Same exact detailing as the other container. And two, look at that. It's super duper heavy. We have the final container that we're going to be using in this area. Now we'll go ahead and we'll make a couple of quick stops and get the rest of the components for this beautiful container. Let's go. Are the polka dot plants that we're looking for. So now here's the thing. I need more of this pink right here. So I want to find one that kind of looks good and that's full from the beginning. So right here, $5.98. And if we go down on the inside, we look on the inside of the canopy here, you can see that you can totally divide this plant. See that? You see how it's different plants right here? You can totally divide these into different sections. And so that's what we're going to need. So I only really need one, but I think, let's see, yeah, so I just need one plant right here. And so we'll get this, and $5.98, you can't beat it. And I'll show you how many of these plants we're going to actually divide this into. For our next supply that we need, we're going to need a orange type pansy. Now this is just a Winter Survivor is the brand, and here is the orange color that we're looking for. So this is a 6-pack, so we'll need one of these. And actually, I think I will go ahead and get 2 of the 6-packs. So I'll have a total of 12 to work with here. And let's see if we can get these apart. So this is what we got. Winter Survivor is the brand of pansy here. And let's look at the tag for a bit. This is a Delta Premium Pure Orange, and this is a pansy. Fun to part shade. This is a cooler weather plant. It is admired for its impressive colorful blooms. Wonderful to use in borders, beds, windows, etc. So we'll go ahead and go with these. Alright, so we're gonna walk this out.
Have a nice one.
You too, thank you. And I think we have all of the plants that we need. So let's head back and get everything potted up. But aren't these gorgeous? Like, look at that. I'm super duper excited to use these. Here's our container, and we do have drain holes in the bottom of this cast iron container here. I'm going to take this, split this in half here. Actually, let's go ahead, let's just plant up the beautiful containers, and then from there we'll talk about the containers and how we compost everything, because we have some other things that I want to get accomplished for today. We're going to take our polka dot plant and we're going to just start cutting it in half, so that way we can see what we have to work with here. All right, so then from there we have a plant. We have 2. Then we have 4. 5. 6, 7 plants here of a nice size, of a nice texture. And here is our second one. So we have 2 that's identical. I'm going to set this one down. Every year in my garden, it is a must for me to use tulips in containers, daffodils, muscari, hyacinth, any type spring bulb. I start thinking about what I'm going to do the year before. So in order to have the show that I need, so for example, like this show right here. to have that show, that display that you all just seen, that effortless flow of color from one container to the next. The rhythm is perfect. It flows well together. One container communicates with the next, and it's no disruption, no argument between the two. Nothing is competing. I have to make sure I'm very meticulous with my planning. And I can't depend on the big box stores in order to get that show. So I'll show you a little bit about behind the scenes, and we'll go ahead and we'll plant some tulips in containers together. Tulips in containers have been my jam for a very long time. I love tulips in containers. I have success, 100% success every single time. And every year when I get the product of my bulb, it seems like the bulbs that I planted, they just come up and they're more, you know, if I feel like I planted maybe 10 bulbs in this container or 5 bulbs in this container or 3, whatever have you, it just seems like the show is so luxurious. It just always seems like I have more tulips than bulbs that I planted. We are going to be getting this chore done and out the way. Sometimes you have to make sure you get those mundane tasks done. But you know what? I actually really enjoy designing with tulips. I enjoy looking forward to what my next year's show is going to be. Just thinking about how everything's going to come together in the succession and the flow of blooms, how the colors are going to merge together. I really have a passion for that. I totally love it. And I have been doing it really since I was a kid. So I'm going to show you all the supplies that we have here, because you know what? If you are on a budget, but you want to bang for your show, let's say, for example, if you know that you're going to be moving, you're going to be purchasing a home, you're going to be renting a home, or your job is going to be transferring you from St. Louis maybe to Atlanta, Georgia. Or if they're not transferring you to Atlanta, maybe they're sending you to Texas or Charlotte, North Carolina, or even Arkansas, whatever have you. Go ahead, buy your tulips, get you as many tulips as you can set to the side and budget for, because tulips are really dirt cheap. Pot your tulips up in containers and move them babies with you. When you get to your new house next spring, 2025, roll around, set them right on out there and have a show. Yes, have done that before. So when I tell you that, you know, if you plan out your show and you make sure you say, okay, well, all I have set aside for tulip bulbs is $100, you can really have a nice, beautiful show with $100 worth of tulips, especially if you order them from the right source. I'm going to show you all what all I'm using here. I'm going to start with a quality bulb. These are the bulbs that we're going to be using. Now, sometimes with your bulbs, you will see a little bit of mold on them. Like right here, that's the penicillin on the bulb. Don't worry about those, especially if your bulbs are firm and they're not mushy, then they should be fine. Just a little bit of mold is not going to hurt anything. So you want to start with your bulbs. Then whatever vessel you're going to be using, I'm using these containers right here. These are the containers typically that I will use when I'm potting something up, whether it be flowers, bulbs, whatever have you. And I do have these in different size containers. Then I have my plant tags. There's nothing worse than having a show and you pull out the wrong tulip. So you definitely want to make sure that you label your tulips here. So I have those. I also have more right here. And then I have gloves. Anytime I'm working with fertilizer, I always like to have some type of barrier between myself and the fertilizer. So I have these, and then they have the nitro on the other side of the glove. So I have some gloves that I'm using here. I also have my bulb fertilizer. Now, the brand does not matter. Just make sure you use some type of fertilizer. And actually, if we're being 100% realistic, your bulbs come equipped with all of the energy that it's going to need in order to make sure that it's able to sprout. I always go in and I use my bulb fertilizer. And then you want to have some nice, good quality soil. I have just some regular potting mix or compost, not seed starting mix, whatever you want to use. I have my soil standing by, and this is a little bit damp here, but we are going to be actually adding a little bit more water to our bulbs once we get that in. Then last but not least, whatever type of water that you're going to use, whatever vessel that you're using in order to water your bulbs in. We'll start planting up our tulip bulbs. It's really quick and easy. And actually, full disclosure, I have been planting up tulips for weeks now. Oops! Did I say it? Yes, I said it. I have been planting tulips up for weeks now because in order to get the show that I give, it takes a lot of behind the scenes prep, and it's a solo team here. It is a solo team, and by it being a solo team, I have to, prep and do, work. So what I'll do is, even though I don't need it for design, I will go ahead and pot up a larger size container. So let me go get one. Here's the next size, and typically what you will see oftentimes on my channel here when I'm working with tulips and different bulbs and things of that nature, a lot of people always say, how did you get this at this time? How do you have this in bloom at this time? Well, it's very simple, because let me tell you something. For years, I have been working with tulip bulbs, saving tulip bulbs, using them from season to season. And I have also found a unique way to actually perennialize your tulip bulbs. And for the right time, everybody keeps saying you need to write a book, you need to write a book, you need to write a book. And probably so, I probably do, because I do have a lot of knowledge. I have been doing research for years to just try to see how, my own personal research. Okay, this year I did this, then what was the result? So then next year I'll change it and I'll crop that out, and then I'll do something different in order to make things, affordable. Because with the price of eggs, right? The price of milk. I went into the store the other day and a price for chicken was insane. $20 for a pack of meat. And I'm not talking about no big pack of meat, like a regular size pack of meat. I was like, are you serious? So, honey, since that's what we're dealing with, we got to adjust. So one of the ways that I have found in order to be able to afford gardening, in order to be able to afford big, huge containers and things of that nature, is I've just, just made changes. And then I just like to learn. I'm one of those people who like to learn. How can I perfect this? How can I change this? Okay, the rules say you do this. And oftentimes, a lot of these rules, I don't know where the rules done came from, honey, because it ain't making a difference. We'll start off using a little bit of our bulb fertilizer here. And we're going to coat the bottom here. So just a nice small layer. And you want your basal plate of your tulip. Our basal plate is the flat end. This is how you plant the tulip bulb. So you have your, like a Hershey's, flat down just like that. Mix it in a little bit and just pop it right on in. And you kind of want to turn your tulip bulbs. You don't want to plant them to where they're all going the same direction. So you want one to be curved and one to be flat when you put it in there. It makes a ton of difference with the look. See how this bulb right here is flat? Then we have the round. So I'll go in here. I'll take the basal plate. This is where the roots come off at. And then I'll set that in there just like that. They're the same direction, right? That's not what you want to do. What you want to do is you want to take this, turn this around this way, and put it in there just like that. See the difference? Next one, you want to have that coming in flat side. Put that in just like that. It's going to make a difference the way your tulips come out of your containers. You're going to be like, oh, wow, this is amazing. Turn this one to the opposite direction. You push them down in there to where they're firm, connected with the soil, but they're not touching each other. What I'll do is I'll turn this direction right here. Now push it down in there. And then for in the center here, if I can, I will try to get 2 bulbs in this space right here. And I know you like, girl, you just need 1. Now you can do 1, right? You can come in and just do 1 tulip, right? But we don't want that. We're going to move these out so we can fit at least 2 tulips on the inside of here if we can. And if it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. I will turn my tulips to the side. Okay, let's swap this out for a slimmer bulb. Okay, so here we go, right there. We'll put this one right there. So let's go 1, 2. There we have it. And it is crowded in there, but that's the look that we want, okay? So then we'll just come in from this part, and then we'll just put our soil in just like this. All right, so there we have this container that's finished, right? So soil in the bottom. And so now with these smaller containers here, I don't stuff my smaller containers as much as I stuff my bigger containers. So typically with this size container right here, 3 bulbs is all you really need in these containers right here. Sometimes, depending on the size of the bulb, you might only be able to get 2 of them in there. But I have 3 of them in here, and actually I got to take these out because we got to add our bulb fertilizer in order to make sure that we get a nice, strong, healthy root system going, and we want to get that root system going quickly. Okay, so there we have it. We'll put our 3 bulbs back on the inside of this container here, and then what I'll do with these is I definitely make sure that the way they are situated, they're not touching, because it's so small of a container to start with. Give it a little tap. And this is actually more than 1 container, but take my gloves off really quick and get these other containers out of here. All right, there we go. All right, so now let's get these planted up. Here is the refrigerator where I store all of my tulip bulbs, my muscari, my daffodils, any type of bulb that needs to be chilled. This is where I store them at. Now, this is where they will rest. They will have a certain amount of chill time. And once they've reached that chill time, then I'll pull them out and I'll take them into the next process. This is a very inexpensive freezer, you guys. You can get these sometimes for $50, $60. I've seen them that low on like a Black Friday. They do have them where they're more expensive. They do have them where they're a little bit cheaper. You can also get ones that's smaller. I like this one because it does have the freezer component. Now, I keep my frost in there for things that I actually need to freeze. And then I do go through once a year and I make sure I come in and I unthaw this. Not even once a year. Sometimes I have to do it multiple times throughout the year. I'll defrost it and I'll give it a deep clean. In between doing my different bulbs and so on, I will go in and I will also come in and give this a deep clean as well. I have the smaller ones here. I like to keep everything labeled. Oftentimes I will put on there the date that I put them inside of the freezer, but I'll go back and do that. I just wanted to go ahead, get these potted up. Now, I do have more than one of these, so they come in handy. So if you can find these at garage sales, at yard sales, or even just in the regular store on sale, and if you're going to start getting into propagating plants and so forth, it is going to be worth just getting as many of these as you can. Now, by the time all of this is over and said and done with, this entire refrigerator slash freezer combo will be packed full. I'm going to head back outside and finish cleaning up and get those 2 containers in its place. But I got my notification that my package had been delivered. And I'm excited to share with you all what we got in the mail. All right, so we have a ton of seeds here. So I got some more pansies and violas here, and I'm very excited about the varieties that I got. Now, I got a lot of questions down in the comment section on where I got my pansy and viola seeds from, and they came from Swallowtail Seeds. I've been ordering from them for a very long time, and I'm super excited. These are going to go into my collection, and just different types of violas, pansies. Some of the seeds that I got in the mail are going to be seeds that I'm starting for next season. Some of them I'm going to start next season, meaning in next year. So I'm super excited, and these will go to my collection. But one of the things that I want to get done is I definitely want to get those containers that I planted up in their place. So, and get all of that mess cleaned up. And I think I'm going to plant up 2 more containers. The polka dot plants that I have left over, they can actually be repotted. So we are going to repot the rest of these plants out, and we'll just go ahead and use this 6-pack here. We'll snag this up, put it inside of this container right here. Actually, I want to use this because I will lose. Yeah, we'll just use this right here so we can keep them all together, and it'll make it easier to water. Okay. And now just pop this right here. This arrangement, I had to wait until the water drained out of here. This container here does not drain. I use this container oftentimes for flower arrangements. They're very gorgeous. They're able to stretch the length of the table or whatever sideboard that I'm putting it on. So I was not going to go in and drill holes in it for a temporary arrangement, only because this container right here came from an antique shop, so therefore I wasn't able to find another one like it. And the feet here, we actually went in together and we aged those feet together in order to make them fit in, but I didn't want it to be a perfect match, because if you look at the container has like different variations of green in it. So I did not want the feet to actually match it, and because I didn't matchy it, so like even here, if you see the side here, you can definitely see a variation in the greens, and you can see a little bit of white showing through. You can see a little bit of that dark green that I love on containers, as well as a little bit of that mustard yellow kind of showing through as an undertone. So I just went with kind of like a safe green color, and each one was done differently. But this arrangement was so beautiful. We did it together, but I had to wait till the water drained out the bottom of it to be able to lift it up, because it's very, very heavy, and it's huge. It's large. You can stuff a lot of plants inside of it. And as you can see, the hydrangea that was in there, the hydrangea went over earlier in the season because we had been away from home. So therefore, it wasn't getting properly watered. It succumbed to the situation that it was in. So we'll go ahead and get this off the table. So we'll lift this up. Oh, and I'll get my pot feet. We will need 2 roses, but we want them to be full. I don't know, what do you all think? This one is a good contender, but this one looks good too. So I want to go with 2 that look the fullest. Okay. We'll get our next container that we're going to be using. We are going to pot up these two beautiful concrete urns here. Okay, so we are going to pot these two up and then we'll get them in their place as well. So let me get my gloves on really quick. And again, I'm going in the bottom of these containers. I am going to be using a piece of window screen in order to keep the soil in and keep the water, like the excess water, that way it can just flow through so it'll stay out. And I just need to split this in half. And that way it also helps prevent your drain hole from getting clogged up as well. Two nice big heaps of soil. Then I'm trying to decide which two. I'm thinking that I'll go with this one. This one is nice, but it's not all the way bloomed out. It has a lot of buds on it, but I kind of want that instant impact, if you will. So I think I'll go with this one. So push that down in there just like that. How gorgeous is that? Absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's get these in their place. This is how everything looks up close. And I wanted to emphasize and just break up the fact that although we have a matching arrangement right here and here, I wanted to emphasize and break this up and just accent this container right here with the concrete urns here and then the rows. I didn't dress the bottom of it. It's just plain old soil here. You can definitely go in with moss, rocks, whatever have you. And I'm obsessed. I totally love it. Totally love it. Drop down in the comment box. Tell me what you think about this. I am like totally obsessed with this arrangement. I love it. I am obsessed. Totally love this. I love the beautiful orange pansy. We have our beautiful rose here. And then if you look on the inside of the roses, you can see where it has that orange hue. Can you see that? Maybe you can see it better now. The orange on the inside of it. Absolutely love it. And then, of course, the polka dot plant has that beautiful pink color. It's gorgeous. I love it. We use the orange pansy, the polka dot plant, and then the beautiful pink roses here. So it's just a repeat with the same plants, the same container, and planted up in the same sow.